Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington, D.C., I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
Wrigley Square works because it takes classical architecture form and places it inside a modern city, and that contrast is what makes it stand out immediately. In the middle of glass towers, steel structures, and contemporary design, you suddenly have a clean, symmetrical row of columns that feel completely out of place. That is exactly the point. The structure here is known as the Millennium Monument, and is designed as a peristyle, which is a row of columns supporting a horizontal beam. This form comes from the ancient Greek and Roman architecture, where it was used to define important civic and ceremonial places. But this is not just the original version. The monument you see today is actually a reconstruction of an earlier peristyle that stood in Grant Park in the early 20th century. That original structure was removed decades ago, and this version was rebuilt to reconnect the space to that earlier vision of the city. That decision ties directly back to how Chicago has always treated this area. Grant Park has long been described as the city's front yard, and the idea was that this space should remain open, accessible, and visually connected to the lakefront, rather than being filled with dense development. The peristyle fits into this idea because it defines space without blocking it. The columns create a boundary and a focal point, but you can still see through them, move through them, and experience the space beyond. Each column also represents a donor, because Millennium Park itself was largely funded through private contributions. So the structure is not just architectural, it is also a record of how people built the park. From a design perspective, the monument works because of its placement. It sits slightly removed from the main flow of traffic through the park, which creates a quieter node within a much busier system. People move through Millennium Park in multiple directions, and most of that movement is continuous. This space interrupts that flow just enough to create a place where people can stop, gather and reset before moving on. The symmetry of the structure reinforces that effect. The columns are evenly spaced, the lines are clean, and the geometry is simple, which creates a sense of order that contrasts with the more dynamic elements around it. At the same time, the open lawn in front of the monument gives it room to function. Without that space, the structure would feel compressed and lose its impact. Instead, it has a clear foreground and background, which allows it to frame views rather than compete with them. This is especially important in a city like Chicago, where the skyline is already dominant. The monument does not try to compete with that scale, it works at a human level and focuses on proportion rather than height. What makes Wrigley Square effective is that it connects multiple layers of the city at once. It references historical design, it reflects modern funding and development, and it provides a functional space within a much larger park system. It also acts as a transition point. From here, movement continues towards other major features of Millennium Park, but this space provides a moment of pause before that shift changes. That combination of history, structure, and placement is what defines Wrigley Square, because it shows how simple architectural form can still control space, guide movement, and hold attention without relying on scale or complexity.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.